The Detailed History of the USA. The history of the United States of America is a story of indigenous civilizations, European exploration, colonization, revolution, expansion, and transformation into a global superpower. Here's a comprehensive breakdown. 1. Pre-colonial era before 1492. The land was inhabited by Native American tribes for thousands of years. Advanced civilizations such as the ancestral Puebloans in the Southwest and the mound builders in the Midwest flourished. Native American societies were diverse, with languages, religions, and governance systems suited to their environments. 2. European exploration and colonization, 1492 to 1763. Christopher Columbus arrived in 1492, initiating European exploration. Spain, France, and Britain established colonies. Spain focused on the south and west, France on Canada and the Mississippi River, and Britain on the east coast. Jamestown, Virginia, was the first permanent British settlement in 1607. The 13 British colonies developed unique economies and cultures, with agriculture and trade flourishing in the South and North. 3. The Road to Independence, 1763 to 1783. After the French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763, Britain imposed taxes on the colonies, e.g., the Stamp Act, Tea Act, causing unrest. Colonists protested against taxation without representation, leading to events like the Boston Tea Party, 1773. The Revolutionary War began in 1775, sparked by clashes at Lexington and Concord. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence, authored by Thomas Jefferson, proclaimed the colonies' freedom. The war ended in 1783 with the Treaty of Paris, establishing the United States as an independent nation. 4. The formation of a new government, 1783 to 1815. The Articles of Confederation, 1781, initially governed the U.S. but proved weak. In 1787, the Constitution was drafted, creating a federal government with executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The Bill of Rights, 1791, guaranteed individual liberties. George Washington became the first president in 1789, promoting unity and neutrality in foreign affairs. 5. Westward expansion in the early 19th century, 1800 to 1860. The Louisiana Purchase, 1803, doubled U.S. territory, followed by the Lewis and Clark expedition exploring the West. The War of 1812 against Britain reaffirmed U.S. sovereignty. The Monroe Doctrine, 1823, declared opposition to European interference in the Americas. Westward migration, driven by manifest destiny, led to conflicts with Native Americans in Mexico. The Trail of Tears, 1830s, forced Native Americans from their lands under the Indian Removal Act. 6. The Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861 to 1877. Growing tensions over slavery and states' rights led to the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860 prompted southern states to secede and form the Confederacy. Key battles included Gettysburg and Antietam. Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. The Union's victory ended slavery, and the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments sought to ensure rights for African Americans. Reconstruction aimed to rebuild the South and integrate freedmen, but resistance and segregation persisted. 7. Industrialization and immigration, 1870 to 1900. The late 19th century saw rapid industrial growth, with railroads, steel, and factories driving the economy. Urbanization increased as cities grew to accommodate industries and immigrants. Millions of immigrants from Europe and Asia arrived, creating cultural diversity but also facing discrimination. Labor unions emerged to fight for workers' rights amid poor working conditions. 8. The World Wars and Global Power, 1914 to 1945. The U.S. entered World War I in 1917, helping the Allies secure victory. The 1920s saw economic prosperity, but the Great Depression, 1929 to 1939, devastated the economy. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs aimed to revive the economy. In World War II, 1939 to 1945, the U.S. joined the Allies after the 1941 Pearl Harbor attack. The war ended with the Allied victory, and the U.S. emerged as a global superpower. The Cold War era, 1945 to 1991. After World War II, the US and Soviet Union entered the Cold War, a period of ideological and military tension. The US participated in conflicts like the Korean War, 1950 to 1953, and the Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975. The space race culminated in the US landing on the moon in 1969. The Cold War ended in 1991 with the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Hasher 10. Civil Rights and Social Changes, 1950s to 1970s. The Civil Rights Movement, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., sought to end racial segregation and discrimination. Landmark legislation included the Civil Rights Act, 1964, and the Voting Rights Act, 1965. The feminist movement and LGBTQ+ rights gained momentum during this period. 11. Modern America, 1980s present. The late 20th century saw advancements in technology and globalization. The 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001 reshaped U.S. foreign policy, leading to wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The 2008 financial crisis had global repercussions, but the U.S. economy recovered in subsequent years. Social movements like Black Lives Matter and debates over climate change, healthcare, and immigration continue to shape the nation's discourse. Conclusion. The United States has evolved from a collection of colonies to a diverse, democratic superpower. Its history is marked by challenges and triumphs, embodying ideals of liberty, equality, and innovation, while striving to address social and political complexities.